Everyone tells you the same thing. Just walk more. And that's not bad advice. Walking really does help your blood move. But here's what most people never hear. Walking only works if your leg muscles squeeze the right way at the right time. And that squeeze often stops working the moment you sit down, stand still in line, or rest in your chair at night. That's exactly when the blood in your lower legs needs help getting back up to your heart. And for many people over 60, that help just isn't there anymore. It often starts small: cold feet, ankles that look a little puffy by evening. Most people shrug it off. But left alone, this can turn into skin discoloration, slow healing sores, and worse. Right now, about 1 in 6 adults between 60 and 69 already have some form of poor circulation in their legs, and the number climbs fast with every decade after that. I'm Dr. Ethan Kent, and I've seen the same pattern walk into my office more times than I can count. There's a muscle mechanism in your calf that acts like a second heart, squeezing blood upward every time it contracts. When that pump weakens, gravity wins, and blood pools right where you don't want it. Today, I'm giving you 8 simple movements that wake this pump back up, counting down to the one I choose above all the rest. Stick with me. Save this video if you need to, because one patient of mine, I'll call him Arthur, used these same movements, and I want you to keep him in mind as we go. Give me 2 minutes. Let's begin. Most people skip this one before they even try it. It looks too small, too easy, like it couldn't possibly do anything. That's exactly why it gets ignored, and exactly why it works so well for the people who need it most. Here's the real reason it matters. You don't need to stand. You don't need to add weight. You don't need strong knees or a steady balance. All you need is your ankle joint, moving through its full range. A review of studies on the calf muscle pump found that exercises which move the ankle fully help the calf muscles do their real job, pushing blood back up toward the heart. The review also found that better ankle motion goes hand in hand with a stronger pump. For anyone who struggles to stand for long, or who spends most of the day sitting, this is often the safest way in. Here's how to do it. Sit in a sturdy chair, feet flat on the floor. Lift your toes up toward your shins. Hold for 1 second, then point them back down, like you're pressing a gas pedal. That's one pump. Do 15 of these, slow and controlled. Then switch to circles. Rotate each ankle in one direction 10 times. Then reverse. You can do this with your shoes on, your feet up on a stool, even in bed before you get up in the morning. No strain, no risk, just movement. It feels almost too gentle to count, but this is the foundation everything else builds on. Once your ankle is moving well, we can start asking more from the muscles just above it, and that's exactly where we're headed next. Some people move past this one fast, thinking it's just a leg lift with no real purpose. But this movement is doing something the ankle work can't do on its own. It brings a bigger muscle group into play, and it uses gravity to help pull blood back down and up again in one smooth cycle. When you lift your knee while sitting, you're using your hip flexors, the muscles at the front of your hip that pull your thigh upward. As your leg rises and falls, the blood in your thigh and lower leg gets pushed along by this pumping motion, then drops back down with gravity when the foot returns to the floor. This back and forth rhythm keeps blood from settling in one place for too long, which is often what starts the swelling and heaviness people feel by the end of the day. A study on older adults found that seated marching raised heart rate and blood pressure in a safe, measurable way, showing that even a seated movement like this creates a real physical response in the body. That may sound small, but for someone who cannot stand for long periods, this is one of the few ways to get that response without added risk. Here is how to do it. Sit tall in a sturdy chair, feet flat on the floor, hands resting lightly on your thighs or the sides of the chair. Lift one knee up toward your chest as high as feels comfortable, then lower it back down with control. Switch legs like you are marching in place. Aim for 20 lifts on each side, moving at a steady, unhurried pace. Keep your back straight and avoid leaning backward as you lift. This movement works your hips, but the next one moves the focus lower, back down toward the calf, where the real pumping power lives. By now, your ankles and hips are warmed up. This next one wakes up the biggest engine in the whole system, the calf muscle itself. Here's why this movement carries more weight than people expect. Your calf isn't just a muscle for walking. It's the main chamber of the pump we've been talking about. Every time it tightens, it squeezes the deep veins running through it and forces blood upward, against gravity, back toward your heart. Sitting for hours or standing still without shifting your weight lets this chamber go quiet, and that's when blood starts to pool. A study on older adults found that even one session of calf raise exercise sparked a real response inside the muscle itself at the cellular level, showing the body reacts fast to this kind of movement, even later in life. That's the calf pump waking up and getting to work. Before I show you the next, if this is helping, take 2 seconds and hit subscribe. It costs nothing, and it means more of these routines land in front of you when you need them. Now here's how to do this one. Stand behind a chair or counter for balance. Slowly rise up onto your toes, lifting your heels as high as feels comfortable. Then lower back down with control. That's 1 rep. Do 15 of these. Once that feels steady, add heel-to-toe rocks. Shift your weight back onto your heels, toes lifted. Then rock forward onto your toes, heels lifted. Rock back and forth like this 15 times. This is one of the strongest pumps in your whole leg, and we've only just started asking more of it. From here, we start turning up the intensity, because the next few movements ask your legs to do a little more work and give a little more back in return. We're stepping things up now. This next move still uses the calf, but it asks one leg to do the full job alone, and that changes everything. Here's why that matters. When both legs share the work, it's easy for one side to quietly do less than the other, and you'd never notice. Working one leg at a time closes that gap. It forces the weaker side to catch up, and it wakes up the small stabilizing muscles around your ankle that help stop wobbles and stumbles. A study that tested 600 healthy adults between the ages of 20 and 80 found that single-leg calf endurance drops steadily with age, with adults in their 60s performing noticeably fewer reps than adults in their 40s. That drop isn't just about strength. Weaker single-leg calf endurance is closely tied to how well the pump moves blood back up your leg and how steady you feel on uneven ground. Here's how to do this one safely. Stand facing a wall, close enough to place both hands flat against it for support. Shift your weight onto one leg, letting the other foot hover just off the ground or rest lightly on your toes behind you. Slowly rise up onto the toes of your standing leg, lifting your heel as high as feels steady. Then lower back down with control. Do 10 to 12 reps, then switch legs. Keep your hands on the wall the entire time. This is not about balancing without support. It's about isolating the muscle so it gets the full workout safely. You'll likely notice one leg tires faster than the other. That's useful information, not a problem. Keep working both sides evenly, and that gap will close over time. From here, the movements start asking a little more of your whole leg at once, building towards something with real weight behind it.
This next one asks more from your whole leg at once, not just one muscle group. That's on purpose. Your leg pump works best when several muscles fire together, not one at a time, and this movement trains exactly that kind of teamwork. Here's the new number worth knowing. A review looking at chair-based resistance band exercise in older adults found real gains in lower limb muscle endurance and in dynamic balance, along with better results on daily activity tests. This wasn't a small effect from one study. It came from pooling results across many groups of older adults, which makes it a strong sign that seated resistance work does something real for the legs, not just in theory, but in day-to-day movement too. Here's how to bring this into your routine. Sit tall in a sturdy chair with a resistance band looped around the arch of one foot, holding both ends firmly in your hands at hip height. Slowly press your foot forward against the band, straightening your leg out in front of you. Then bring it back with control. Do 12 to 15 presses, then switch legs. Keep the movement slow on the way back. That slow return is where much of the benefit comes from. If you don't have a band, step-ups work the same muscles in a different way. Stand in front of a sturdy step or low stair. Step up with one foot, bringing your body fully upright. Then step back down with control. Do 10 on each leg, holding a railing or counter if you need steadier balance. Both options wake up the same chain of muscles working together, from your hip down through your calf. That teamwork is exactly what the next few movements build on, as we get closer to the one I'd choose above all the rest. We're getting close now. This next movement pulls in something we haven't used yet, your arms, working together with your legs at the same time. Here's why that pairing matters more than it seems. Your arms and legs are wired together by the same nervous system rhythm that controls walking. When you swing your arms properly while you move your legs, your brain and body coordinate more smoothly. And that coordination carries directly into how steady you feel on your feet. Research on older adults found that strengthening arm swing during movement improved gait stability and coordination, and was linked to a lower risk of falls. In plain terms, moving your arms and legs together isn't just for show. It trains your whole system to work as one. Here's how to bring this into your routine. Stand tall, holding on to a chair or counter with one hand if you need the support. Begin marching in place, lifting your knees to a comfortable height. Now add your arms. As your right knee lifts, swing your left arm forward. And as your left knee lifts, swing your right arm forward, just like a natural walking motion. Keep the movements smooth, not rushed. Do this for 30 to 45 seconds, rest, then repeat for a second round. If you need to hold on with both hands, that's fine too. You can still get the arm motion going by keeping your elbows bent and pumping them gently at your sides as you march. This is where things start to build towards something bigger. Of the 8 movements in this routine, the next few carry real weight, and one of them, if I could only recommend a single exercise to protect your circulation as you age, this would be close to the top of that list. We're near the top now, and this one carries real weight. This isn't just another movement. It's about using short bursts of walking in a very specific way, one that does more for circulation than steady, ordinary walking alone. Here's the stronger evidence behind this one. A major review
Pooling results from multiple clinical trials found that structured walking, done with brief rest breaks built in, led to real improvements in walking ability for people with poor leg circulation. Across hundreds of patients, this approach outperformed standard advice to just walk more, with measurable gains in how far and how long people could walk before discomfort set in. That's not a small home study. That's the strongest kind of evidence we have in this entire routine so far. And it points to one clear lesson. It's not the walking alone that helps. It's how you walk. Here's how to bring this into your day. Instead of one long walk, break it into short rounds. Walk at a steady, comfortable pace for 1 minute. Then stop and rest for 1 minute, standing or sitting, whichever feels better. Repeat this cycle 5 to 8 times. As you walk, add the pump activation cue from earlier. Press through your heel into your toes with each step, like you're gently squeezing the ground beneath you. This small cue keeps your calf pump firing with every step, not just the walking motion itself. Start with 1 round of this cycle once a day and build up slowly as it feels comfortable. If you feel pain in your calf during the walking minutes, that's useful information for your doctor, not something to push through. This one alone could reshape how you think about walking. But there's still one movement left, the one that ties everything together, and it's the one I'd choose first if I could only pick one. This is it. Everything we've done builds to this one movement because it directly targets the calf pump we talked about at the very start, your body's second heart. The strongest evidence in this entire routine backs this up. A meta-analysis pooling results across multiple studies found a significant boost in calf pump function among people who did targeted calf exercise compared to those who didn't. This isn't a single small study. It's the combined weight of several trials pointing the same direction. Here's how to do it. Stand behind a chair, hands resting lightly for balance. Rise up onto your toes, heels lifted high. Then, instead of just lowering back down, immediately march in place for 4 steps, knees lifting to a comfortable height. Return to another slow heel raise, then march again. Repeat this raise and march pattern for 1 full minute. This combination asks your calf to squeeze, release, and squeeze again in quick succession, exactly the rhythm your second heart depends on. I think back to Arthur often. He wasn't chasing anything dramatic. By week 3, he told me his ankles simply felt less heavy by evening. Not cured, not perfect, just lighter, and able to enjoy his evening walks again. One thing before we close. If you notice sudden swelling in just one leg, skin that looks discolored or feels warm to the touch, or pain that doesn't ease with rest, that's not something to wait out with exercise. See a doctor. Let's recap. Ankle pumps, seated marching, heel-to-toe rocks, wall calf raises, band presses, arm coordinated marching, interval walking, and this final combined movement. None of this is about chasing youth. It's about keeping your independence, your steadiness, your ability to move through your own life on your own terms. If this helped, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.